I first got my Game Boy when I was younger, it came with the obvious hits that most people would have had, things like Tetris and Mario Land. But the actual first game I played on it was Batman, and to be honest, it's a game that I've never actually completed even when I was younger. The side-scrolling platform by Sunsoft is actually a really good game, and even though I haven't played it for quite some time, I've thoroughly enjoyed going back through it and actually completing it this time. You obviously play as Batman, and it loosely follows the story of the first movie. I say loosely because I remember Batman in the movie punching and kicking people, not shooting them in the face with projectiles all the time. The controls are super simple, it's just like Mega Man, you can run, jump and shoot, though the jumping you can if you hold the button down for longer, just glide in the air for a little bit, so it does take some time getting used to. The hitbox is also really weird with this game, sometimes you could be right on top of an enemy and get hit, and other times you feel like you're nowhere near them and you'll take damage. Thankfully though, the amount of invincibility frames upon getting hit means you can pretty much just tank through most attacks. This is super important, especially in the later stages such as the flying stage in the Batwing. This was always a stage I had trouble with when I was younger, primarily because trying to see any of this happen on a tiny Game Boy screen with the amount of motion blur that was going on made it almost impossible to see where some of the shots were. While the sprites are incredibly small and not very detailed, what is there is nice, same for the backgrounds. There's a varied amount of detail to them, and you do see different locations, which is quite nice, even if they are relatively simple. It's not particularly difficult, but then it all depends on what weapons you pick up. There's a wide selection of different guns to find throughout the levels hidden in blocks. You've got your regular shot, a shotgun short shot, a wave shot which can be really useful or incredibly frustrating to use, batarangs which are probably the best weapon to pick up because they go through everything and come back to you, along with a few others. This is probably the main criticism that I would say with the game, is that if you do end up picking up a weapon you dislike, there's no way of getting rid of it unless you find another one. And in the later stages, trying to find some of the better weapons is pretty much impossible. Meaning, like me, if you get stuck with the wave weapon, you pretty much have to continue through the rest of the game with it, hoping you can actually KO some bosses. And when I say bosses, there's only really two if you don't count the shooting levels. The first Joker isn't really an issue, but the second one can be quite a pain if you do have the wrong weapon equipped. Overall, it's a great little game, and it's not particularly long either, so if you ever do see it for cheap, I highly recommend you picking it up. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Batman, I can enjoy a good platformer when I play one. Anyways, I've been Tom from VPG Gaming, thanks for watching, have a great gaming day.